Namaskaram, my dear friends, I am back again. I was gone for a week because I was with my dad and spent some quality time with him. But today I'm going to share with you all 5 things I've noticed after 3 years of sadhana. And I know there are some of you who ask about my sadhana and what types of sadhana I've been doing. So the 3 years has been a work in progress because of course I started with learning just one sadhana and it slowly progressed to where I am today. And I know there's still so much room for improvement because I haven't done Bhava Spandana and Samyama as well as Anga Mardana. Once I do find time to do those, it will definitely be part of my sadhana regimen. So first, I notice a lot more things lately. Like the subtle things in life that people tend to miss, I kind of notice them. A change in someone's demeanor, the change of energy vibes in a surrounding, the subtle differences in my environment, even sometimes smells and sounds and people's presence. I tend to notice them a lot more. Maybe not notice, sure I notice it a lot more, but I think it's because of the sensitivity within me that has developed, so I sense it a lot more. An example, when a person walks into a room, I can somehow already gauge what I need to be, meaning what my demeanor should be if I needed to be in sort of a receptive mode or a defensive mode or a whatever the situation requires type of mode. I feel like even before someone walks in or the way they present themselves, I can kind of already gauge what their intent would be. I'm also a little bit more sensitive to sound now. Maybe because I tend to appreciate it even more, like the birds chirping, the sound of the river, the sea. I love the sound of rain. And I think there's just more in me that appreciates it now more than ever. Another example too, because when my dad and I were on a boat where we were touring a river mangrove. Is that what it is? Like a lot of mangroves on the side, we were going through a river. And as the tour guide started speaking and she was explaining where things are, blah 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 blah, and I just looked up and I noticed a snake coiled up in one of the branches. And then I'm like, oh, there's snakes here, huh? There's black and yellow snakes. And then the tour guide was like, why ma'am, have you been here before? I'm like, no, I've seen one. I'm like, oh, okay. Because usually what she was saying is none of the people notice these things until she mentions it. So I thought that was very interesting. Or maybe I'm just really closer to snakes now than I was before. I don't know. But yes, I noticed a lot more things than I did before, probably like 3 years ago. Second thing I noticed after doing 3 years of sadhana is I enjoy silence a lot. I think this is because doing sadhana, I have to be quiet, of course, and my eyes tend to be closed. And I think my senses get heightened without the sense of sight. And I enjoy everything that's happening. I feel like it's a different type of environment because I'm receiving it in a different way without the sight. And I think, and like what Sadhguru said, when you sit in silence, the mind goes on and on until it stops because there's really no more input. And then that moment when the mind stops running, the mind stops working, in just a moment of stillness, I enjoy that sort of silence. I don't know what it is, I don't know what's happening. I may not know how to explain it, but that silence, that stillness, very wonderful. Third thing I've noticed too, after doing 3 years of sadhana, is I am so good at creating my own reality. Yes, as everyone would argue, oh, this world is just like the Matrix, and I sort of agree because the suffering only comes from our mind, so why not create something without suffering? So I think I'm really good at creating my own mindscape where it is very joyful now. Though sometimes when a negative energy is so strong, it goes like boom. It kind of takes a little time for me to like reconfigure, especially when I'm affected. I need to reconfigure myself and know that I am the creator of my own joyful mindscape. So I work my way through the negative energy and be still in a wonderful, joyful, blissful mindscape. And I think it really did require a lot of practice. Practice meaning sadhana. Because I know there are a lot of people who's like, oh, I can never shut off my brain. Or when they go to bed, there has to be some sort of white noise or some documentary playing in the background before they can fall asleep. It's just a distraction for the mind. But after 3 years of sadhana, I can distract my own mind. Maybe not distract, but I can have my mind follow my orders to go in a certain way and be joyful and blissful and actually sleep. In more or less 10 minutes. No problem at all. But when the mind is awake, I enjoy everything that I create in my mind, which is so wonderful and so blissful. The fourth thing I noticed after doing 3 years of sadhana is I am very good at problem solving. Okay, not in a normal sense where my mind like goes through a problem and solves it. No, this is very interesting. So when I go through a day and I am faced with challenges, there are some problems I solve that day, like easy peasy because I need to do it and then I have the capacity to do so. But when a problem comes and I don't have a clue on how to solve it, or nor I have the time to solve it, the day ends with me having to sleep, and I can still sleep well. And then the next morning when I wake up, and then all the problems still rush in, it's very, very interesting how sadhana has worked well for me. So when I wake up, all the problems still happening in my brain, and once I start to do my sadhana, it's amazing because it seems like all the problems slowly detangle. Like, it goes like, smoothly detangling. And I don't even have to think about it. I just have to do my sadhana. But somehow sadhana seems to comb through all the problems in my brain. And after doing my sadhana from beginning till the end, I promise you, at the end of my sadhana, I feel like I have the solutions to all of the problems I have had. Like, it's amazing. Amazing how sadhana like enables my mind to have its own department where I'm not too conscious about, that just technically solves the problems. Sadhana. The fifth thing I noticed after doing 3 years of sadhana is I could really sense the constant improvement of myself. Constant improvement of my sadhana, constant improvement of how I am, how I carry myself, my health, my well-being, the resolution of some addictions. And I know sadhana has been the way for me, has been a tool to get me through life with ease and blissfulness. And with so much improvement, so much changes within just 3 years, I can't wait to share with you all what would it feel like after 5, 10, 15 years of sadhana. But until then, I appreciate all you guys and I appreciate having to share these with you. And some of you actually getting inspired with what I do. And that is the goal. To share what there is to share for inspiration, for motivation towards liberation. Namaskaram. And that's it. Until next time, guys. Bye.